Hunting. This activity is considered to be one of the oldest in human history. It is a simple act. The hunter goes after its prey with the objective of catching or killing it. But there is more than just running after an animal. Hunting always asks for something more. This will be preparation, knowing the animal, the land in which the hunt takes place, the weapons to use, how to organize as a group, and many other aspects that can affect the hunt. But in that case, you're not hunting a bunny, a deer, or a boar. No. You're hunting a fat ass pico on steroids. Hello everyone, I'm the Drifter, a Monster Hunter enthusiast. Today, I'm here to talk about this looks simple but very complex game, about hunting a variety of very big things. Join me in the journey to end an entire population of species just to get as trippy as possible. Without further ado, let the hunt begin! But before we talk about any action, I would like to confess something. First time I played Monster Hunter for real was when I wanted to play Dark Souls. But I couldn't, cause I was bored. So I saw the game, an action RPG. Surely a hard game. It would be easy to use this game as a training for Dark Souls. And so I did that. Yes, I played Monster Hunter for the first time just to play Dark Souls better. Now you, Monster Hunter fan, don't rage bait me yet. Because I can say that through time, Monster Hunter found an irreplaceable spot in my heart. Now, let's jump into action. Monster Hunter follows a very simple concept. Choose a weapon and a monster, then fight it. Do this till you question if you're really doing a good job to nature. But, as I have said before, it is not that simple. Inside of the act of hunting a monster, there are some variables to keep an eye on. For example, you need to check if you're fighting a ground monster or an aerial one. That monster can use an element to fight. What is the weakness of this monster? What is the sweet spot to hit? Does he spew poison? What are his attack patterns? And many more. In the world of the game, hunting is not an act of survival. It is an act of balance or strategic movement. For example, lore-wise, a hunter cannot go after every monster he sees and end an entire species, like you do when you need a certain piece of armor or weapon. A hunter can only hunt what the guild allows him to. Generally, a monster is hunted because the guild needs space for research, or because the monster is considered a menace to the ecosystem at hand. Depending on the danger of the monster, the guild demands that the monster should be killed as fast as possible, so it would not endanger the ecosystem around it. There are very few normal monsters capable of doing it. One example of them is the Savage Deviljho. Yes, the Pico is on more steroids. This monster consumes everything he sees. His hunger makes him a great threat to the balance of the place he's in. One main thing in Monster Hunter is what you use to take down your target. You would always want to bring in a build that can take care of every advantage of the monster. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're fighting the most iconic monster of the series, the Rathalos. This monster is known as the King of the Skies. In other words, he can fly, obviously. He uses fire breath attacks, aerial tackles, and sometimes he can use his poisonous claws. His main elemental weakness is Dragon Blight, and his main weak spot is the head, wings, and his spiky tail. So, with all that, a good build to take on a Rathalos would look like that. You would want a Dragonblight weapon, armor resistance to fire, and something for the poison. For the weapon itself, a ranged option would be perfect, so you could hit the monster while he's in the air. This pretty much is the most optimal build for the Rathalos. But let's be real. Who would make a build to kill every monster of the game when you can just bonk him in the head with a big stick? After all, big number means monster die quick. If numbers are not your good side, then you can consider going to the other side of the spectrum, which is not having a strategy.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
In that case, you would want a general build with good defense, or just a good rip, I don't know. And a very, and I'm not joking, very big weapon, like the greatsword, hammer, and hunting horn. In this case, you don't need to know the monster. That's for nerds! You just go like crazy into the monster and bonk! Don't think, just smash! Can't lie, this type of gameplay is very fun. It gives aura. But those are two extremes. You can play in the middle. Use the weapon you love while strategizing around it, bringing good items to take care of annoying monsters and mixing a bit of your build. But there is something very important in your build, which is the fashion. You just need a bit of creativity with the pieces and colors, but don't worry, you don't need to alter your build just to look good. In Monster Hunter, there are some special armor you can use just as fashion. They don't affect your buffs or defense types, just your style points. Now, you should be quite bored of hearing just about armor. Let's talk about what kind of weaponry of mass destruction you can use to obliterate an entire family of big lizards. You can use a total of 14 weapons in the game. Those are Longsword, Greatsword, Charge Blade, Hammer, Lance, Gun Lance, Sword and Shield, Dual Blades, Hunting Horn, Switch Axe, Insect Glaive, Heavy Bowgun, Light Bowgun, and last but not least, the bow. Every weapon has its own unique playstyle. For example, the bow is a ranged weapon, obviously. It's very versatile and mobile. You can use coated arrows to get special effects, like paralysis, poison, explosion, yada yada. And close range weapon is the SNS. It is a very simple weapon. There is no flashy moves to it. But it is very balanced between defense and power. You can use items when you shoot up, and it is a overall mobile weapon. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I'm talking about you. Yeah, you. Come here. So, this guy is the Greatsword. This is the highest damage weapon in the game. It is very simple. You charge and hit. But, unlike I said before, you need to know the monster you're fighting, so you can ditch the most amount of damage in this monster. That's why you'll probably see a lot of veterans using it. Also, this is the most testosterone weapon possible. Seriously, what a guy could wish for more than a very big sword. Most monsters in the game have a logic behind their biology. There are a lot of official content explaining how a monster works and why they have a certain weakness. A lot of the game ecosystem is explained. For example, they explain how a certain area was formed or how a monster interacts with said area. They talk about the apexes, the normal monster that live there. How is the interaction between them and many other aspects. For example, in Monster Hunter World, we have the Ancient Forest ecosystem. In there, we have most common monsters like the Great Jaguars or the Enginef. But the apex monster of this place is the Rathalos. United with the Ravian, those two are considered to be the king and queen of the skies. they basically rule over there. But let's say there are monsters that are not normal. They defy logic and physics, and they are considered a danger so big that every monster that falls in that category need to be expelled or killed immediately. Those monsters are the Elder Dragons. Those monsters are heavily studied in the world of Monster Hunter, but the guild don't know what is the source of their powers. Those creatures can be considered basically aliens. Some can control the winds, lightning, explosion, in a way, death itself. Those can be the more fantasy-like monsters or very terrifying creatures. Some of them are simply gigantic and others are more of a normal size. So yes, hunting is one of the oldest activities in human history. But I'm pretty sure our ancestors never had to hunt a beacon on steroids. In the end, Monster Hunter isn't just about killing monsters. It's about learning them, adapting to them, and, occasionally, bonking them so hard enough to turn them into a cool jacket. I'm the Drifter, ending transmission.